5. It's very, very early and I just had my breakfast. Yes, I eat porridge. I don't eat cereal. Ew. Okay, jokes aside, um I think porridge is pretty good, but it's not only about porridge, it's also about the consistency. I don't like when the porridge is too hard. I don't like when the porridge is um too cold because it takes the flavor out. I hope I'm making sense because it's much more sweeter. You can enjoy it much more when it's hot, you know? Just right, just like Baby Bear, the Three Bears. Just right. You have to have it just right. Even with my tea, you have to have it just right. There are times where my tea is very bland. Sometimes you can't taste the sweetness, stuff like that. So it's always going to be this mixture of different varieties of different versions, but it has to be just right. Okay, just right. So what are we gonna talk about today? I have no idea. I have no idea. I just want to talk. I just want to talk about stuff because I'm so stuck in my own self, and for the past few days, things have been, encircling me. Bad thoughts have been encircling me, and I need to talk. I need to let that energy go. I'm trying my best, but it's so hard to let go. I'm trying to just think of the best parts out there. Also, my headphones don't work now. It has issues. Kind of sucks because I loved using my headphones it came to, um, when it came to listening for music while I wrote stuff, because that was the best part. I could listen to any music privately, and that wasn't an issue. So now, obviously, I feel like I mistreated my earphones because uh, you can't see it properly because it's so dark. I did mistreat my earphones with this plug point. It would always be like lying on the ground, and sometimes I'll tramp on it by mistake. Sometimes, it'll just get tangled up. It's just not the best place. And by the way, it's basically this headphones, this box over here. Oh, my hand is so hairy. I'm sorry. It's hard to maintain stuff when you're not on estrogen. But I had this since 2019. Since 2019. Okay. I kid you not, since 2019. It's crazy. It's actually crazy to see some stuff last for some time, you know. This microphone I had since 2019 as well, and that blew a fuse this year. So things last for some time if you take a bit more care of it. So this one is pretty cool. Was it the perfect headphones out there? Not necessarily. I feel like they were better. I've actually owned better quality, like noise canceling ones, and much more cheaper, I'm assuming. Or was this a cheaper version? I can't tell. Regardless, when I started YouTube, I used to use microphones from the headset. Well, first I just used the default microphone from the tablets, and then I started using the headset microphones. And that's how it started off. Mostly because, you don't have to have something so expensive these days. Back in the day, I would always look at the other YouTubers. I would be so envious of them. Not in a wicked way, but, like, I would just see them with their awesome microphones. And even a cheap microphone, a desk microphone was perfect for me. I never got that. The other microphone I had was a clip-on microphone, which really sucked because I had no idea how to use it. You had to get like a audio plug in, you know, uh, like what do you call it? A adapter, just to connect it into your laptop, because it won't really fit in the same way. And then yeah, that's what happened. It was pretty cool, but then it started having issues. I remember the smell of that microphone. It would burn as I would talk because it was plugged in. Hello. Hi. How are you doing? So as I was saying with the microphone, it used to burn when I used to plug it on, and then and then all of a sudden, it one day it stopped working. One day it stopped working, and I had to get a brand new microphone. It took a long time to get a regular microphone. Not much working on my Isekai Fantasy, sorry. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. There's so much of content I have to make. Uh, okay, let me just open this. I have a lot of videos to also edit. I have like a plethora of videos to edit. And some of them might be cool, some of them might be terrible. So, um, okay, it's gonna take some time to load. I'm surprised how many videos I have, and I feel like I have for the entire year. I have content for the entire year. But then again, there's so much more I want to download and edit. It's gonna take a while to edit these videos because some of them have like twerking in it, and sometimes they show a bit more skin, so you have to cover it up because YouTube gets so angry. You know, I have a warning on my channel, so it's very hard for me to post a lot of the naughty stuff. So what I've done in past few months ago was I actually had to, oh, I already did rough drafts of the first two parts, doing the third part currently, which is the end of the trilogy. Though it's an open end for a fourth part. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. You know, once you start working on something, the creative juices always flow and you just can't stop, you know? Um, speaking of creativity, when it came to my book that I'm working on, I have to go back and take out some stuff because it just doesn't seem right. I added so many parts that just felt kind of pointless. Not necessarily filler, but just pointless stuff that would not really make the story feel so well. So I'm going to take some of those parts out and put them for a different story because the concepts for other characters just so awesome. I can reuse and recycle, you know? Um, so yeah, I just love creating stuff, but it just takes forever to get things done, which is the saddest part because time is so fast these days, especially like this time, you know? It's winter for me, so it's pretty different over here, and sometimes you'll just be looking at something, and then all of a sudden, like 10 hours have passed. It's so crazy, you know? The night goes so fast. Just last night, I thought it was 9 o'clock. I was watching a video, and then all of a sudden, almost 11. It's so crazy how time just shifts so fast all the time. Okay, this is so dull. I'm sorry about the terrible lighting. It's just so dull right now. It's very dull. So I have a lot more videos to edit, and it's gonna take a long time. But I can't wait to get these videos out. I have a lot sitting in the back, like 10 or 11, that needs to be posted and published. So yeah, some of the videos do pretty well, some of them don't. The ones that get age restricted don't do as well as anything else. So that kind of sucks because sometimes I pour a lot of heart and soul into the age restricted ones, and then YouTube does not recommend it whatsoever. That's the thing about age restrictions. They don't send it out to your subscribers that much, you know, or to anyone who likes that type of content, because there are a lot of people who like stuff like this, but they won't be able to get this on their recommendations that much, mostly because it's age restricted. It doesn't make sense how that works because a lot of people that watch my stuff, they are mature people. So it would not make sense for YouTube not to recommend these videos to them. Um, it's just sad, to be fair. Oh yeah, there's this one visual novel I've been playing called Sakura Fantasy. It is a lighthearted story so far, at least, and it has some cute waifus. Oh, that sounds adorable. That sounds adorable. I'm still working on my visual novel. I've been working on it since 2019, and I think it's finally time for me to let loose and make it, or else I'll never make it. Because I've had so much of interesting characters in that visual novel, so much of wonderful designs, and I feel like I have to implement it before it's too late. Because 2019 was just a couple years ago. Hope your visual novel goes very well. Thank you so much. This visual novel that I will post, it will be free. So I hope it does bring out a lot of people. I've been actually trying to make a thumbnail for the visual novel, a front picture for the visual novel. And when it comes to the images, uh, for the covers, or for not just books, but not just comics, but also video games as well, I always want the covers to represent something of the game. It doesn't necessarily have to be something like taken from the game itself, but it can be something represented, you know? So that's the most important thing about covers. It's also a art style as well. So I have to make a separate art. I was thinking of actually using a real image for the cover. So I had to actually look for stuff and make the cover because I feel like it'll be much more beautiful if I use something real for the cover. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. For some reason I disconnected. I is working totally fine. It happened last time as well. Funny enough, I don't have a hard time thinking of cool covers, but I can't exactly draw them out. Yes, sometimes it's just very for me it's very difficult with the covers because it's like you have to make sure it represents something from the specific video game or book. No, I have a old cover. I don't think I have it in the for another book I was working on, and I actually put it aside for now. But I wanted to represent the book, and it took a while for me to think of that. Sometimes it takes time for me to think of the best aspects. It's just so easy because if I'm writing a simplex story, I think it'll be pretty easy. But my stories always boil down to complicated stuff, and then I don't know what to do. So for my visual novel 2019, the original cover is supposed to be about a girl standing in darkness, holding a map, and it's basically open. That's supposed to be the original cover. 2021, and I start thinking of adding more content to that story. And then I realized that I should actually make something more interesting for a cover. So now I'm thinking of using a pot plant and make a and I need black soil, you know, and it represents something of the main character, especially soil, but I cannot find black soil. It's so difficult to find black. I don't want to draw the image. I want to use like a real pot plant. I want to make a fake flower. I need black soil. So I was looking for black the other day. I could not find it. Okay, and it's very um, outside. Outside, there's no there's no black soil. Everything is just like, and that's it, light brown. You know, um, even with rain, it just makes it dark brown. So, which is very unfortunate. I usually like to implement duality in my stories. Antagonist fighting an antagonist, and they have either the same powers or equal. My visual novel is going to be about, it's going to be an so there will be multiple choices for making certain moves, and obviously there'll be certain reactions to that specific, you know. So if you have like two options for doing different type of move, basically it will obviously change the villain's motive. It might one move might damage him more than the other. You know, it might have to implement something else, you know, something of the sorts. So it will be very different. However, since the visual novel is going to be quite, I feel like I have to update the game. Since it's a free game, I don't have to worry so much. Because if this was a paid for game, then I have to make sure the entire game is there and not really waste anyone's time and release a little. I can only do that for free games. The visual novel is not just the story, but it's just the movement as well. For all those other images, I have to also find music. It's going to be somewhat troublesome, mostly because I don't know how to make music. So I have to learn. I have to skills and learn. That's going to be quite fun, but I feel like my music won't be the best. So in the near future, when my company gets slightly bigger with cover, I will obviously hire someone to make music, write music, and compose it all together because it's not really one of my shticks. Um, so yeah, that's interesting parts about it. Also, I remember the main protagonist of the story. When I first read the story, it was specifically going to start off in a part of the story. Until last year, I realized that I need more plot points for the main character because it's not the villain story, it's a story. So you have to tell the story. You have to make sure she's more of a hero and stuff like that. There was original concepts for this character and for this game, but obviously in 19 I focused heavily on trying to make it a action. So this final version out, it'll have a mixture of horror, action, and now choices. Sometimes it might be limited, sometimes complex, but I hope it's pretty fun altogether because the character quite fun, you know. Back in 2019, talk about having a perfect villain. People were talking about the Joker. People were talking about this strange stuff, and I thought to myself, perfect villain. And then I thought about the perfect villain, and then it's more about the villain than the hero when I was writing that story, which is unfair because it's not the villain story, it's the hero's story. Sure, there's a lot of lore, but I think it's best to focus on the hero. And there will be a prequel, but the prequel should be in a separate format, not necessarily a visual novel format, because I want that more fun when it comes to like the gameplay. So it will have to be like 2D animation, and basically it'll be not necessarily a platformer, but it will have certain moments where to be it's going to be pretty much your characters and maybe fending off maybe hordes of people, you know. Um, so the prequel is mostly going to focus on just a couple, whereas this main story is going to focus on one character. And the craziest part about the story, the craziest part was uh, the villain of the story is trying to rule the world, but then there's this other empire who is bigger than him, and this villain wants to beat that empire. You know, they're the problem of many wars and many catastrophes for the rest of the world. I definitely have a lot of ideas for prequels. Story I'm doing. Oh, that's great. That's great. At first, I did not want to make a prequel, but then I realized I think it'll be fun, be quite long. So I'm thinking of making the prequel separate, but just a different format altogether. Anyways, so as I was saying, it's kind of crazy because um, the way everyone's talking about so many crazy things, and then my story is like so crazy as well. I wasn't about to use a story about the having an empire that's controlling and causing a lot of catastrophes. I wasn't going to use that story, mostly because back in 2019, I thought people might politicize it. But then I thought to myself, it's a perfect story. I'm gonna go with it, you know? And I'm gonna stick with that story because it's just quite fun. all together. It's good to have one of those really we have, oh wow, we have so many videos. Like I have, okay, I just edited this one. I just made a video of this one. That was yesterday, to be fair, but honestly, um, it took a while to process. When will this video come out? I don't know, you know, because there's so much that's waiting to be out. Now, I hope YouTube does not see this as age-restricted stuff because it's not. It's not. It's not. She's not showing any skin, that much, like too much skin. Be fine. But I feel like they will still censor it. They'll still age restrict it, which is terrifying, you know? Oh, by the way, I'm sorry if it cannot focus. I do it when it comes to I can only do it when it comes to like recording regular. Now YouTube will get very one because you know she's showing something. So I had to like cover it up. I had to use like a very faint image just to cover it up. YouTube cannot detect it because last time they falsely accused my videos of nudity twice. I mean when the person was not naked at all. This it's it's slightly, but it's not full nudity. The fact that they claimed that was very sad. I couldn't upload for a couple of days. Strike disappeared, and then I'm basically I still have a warning over my head. It's kind of crazy how uh, how this is okay. A lot of people dislike stories. I won't blame them since it's their opinion, but I always liked them for the fish out of water story. Everyone likes their own stuff. Everyone has their own likes and dislikes. You know, but that's the best part about that is because I know for a fact there's plenty of people that like isekai stories as well. So there's always a market for that. Always going to be people that's going to support that. You know, best part because there's so many people in this world that like certain things and don't like certain things. So one person might not like isekai, like something else, or vice versa. You know, so it's very you know since I'm working with multiple genres, I have to actually tap into so many genres, not just storytelling, but the play formats as well. I do have a awesome idea for a horror game, a werewolf horror game. Unfortunately, right now, maybe in a couple of years, because I want amazing. I want it to be perfect, you know? And the one thing I've noticed about gaming is that I don't want it to have too much of DLCs. I don't want it to have DLCs because the thing about DLCs now is that everything just feels so forced in some way with earning extra money. But sometimes overcharge people with DLCs and it's especially games where you pay like $70 for something and they sell certain products so you can pay to win. I don't like that. You know, I don't mind those free games, pay to win free games are much more interesting because it's costs you don't have to pay if you don't want to, but it's one of those things where, you know, it does support the company itself because there's so a lot of like Clash of Clans games are like that. They basically um free. Oh yeah, I have a lot of stories in different genres, sci-fi, fantasy, both light and dark, gothic, romance, and thriller. I do have some romance, but most of all, there's going to be romance in any of my stories. Um, Sometimes it won't be romance focused, sometimes it'll be slightly in the atmosphere. I think idea for a horror comic. It's going to be black and white. I don't expect it to be colored, because it's going to take a while to color so many comics. Superhero idea. Well, plenty of superhero ideas. Um, and when it comes to some of my ideas, some of them can actually be in different formats. So they necessarily only be in one format. They can be in plethora of formats, which is great, you know? Because there are some stories that are so long I cannot tell with drawing. I can tell with writing to make my time faster. Um, oh yeah, YouTube will definitely find this offensive. But I don't think I'll censor this when I edit the video, because I think it's totally fine. But sometimes you don't know what YouTube does. It's so heavily focused on censoring. Okay. So as I was saying, about the pay to win stuff, some games cost $60, $70 and they expect you to just win. I don't like that, you know, because if I'm paying $70, I would like to experience the game myself and not just have an easy way out. Then why don't you just give me the easy way out? You would always assume, you know, because it's important, you know, not to spend too much, because I don't care about having a fun game these days. I think that's the most important part, is making the game fun. It doesn't have to be super long, nor does it have to be super duper short. It can be just right, you know? Oh, YouTube will definitely get mad at this. I don't know. I don't think they can get mad at that, but I feel, okay. What about this? I don't know if they will get mad at this. It's kind of crazy. I'm so worried. What are they gonna do? Like this one. This is just someone walking, but I feel like people, well, YouTube will get mad. And this one for sure. I she's cute. She's cute. She's adorable. Let me put full screen. Wife material. Wife material. YouTube will get. But she's wearing something, so I'm not gonna cover it up. As I was saying about video games, I think that. Let me put this down. I think that if I want to make a good video game, and not just a good one for myself, but for other people, it has to be fun. It has to be interesting. It has to also. It has to also have a longevity. Here's the thing. Some games think you can just continue making it a a game where you keep giving updates over and over and non-stop, you know? There's nothing wrong with games like that. But the problem is not every game needs to be like that. You know, so if my game wants to increase its longevity. Okay, let's just say this is the game I have. Okay? Now if I want to increase its longevity, obviously I can add updates. But why not have this already in the game in the first place? You know? So then it won't be a problem. You know, I don't have to worry about updating the game late, because it'll be totally fine. The content will already be there, and I guess there's not much you can actually do. because these days it's all about like extending everything. It's not about having fun, I would say. So I hope that my game is somewhat. All my games are fun. It might not be the best, but I hope it is. I really hope it is. Not necessarily the best for myself, but for other people, because it's all about the person's perspectives. So there's a lot of videos to edit. It's gonna take forever. Plus, I also split the male to female ones separately, so I can edit them properly. I know what I'm editing. I don't have to merge them together. I can actually know what I'm editing, which is good, which is a good thing. So, anyways, what else to talk about? I don't know. I don't know. To be fair, let me plug this on charge. It's just laying low for some time, so let me just charge it up. 34 minutes, okay. I'm frivoling away for 34 minutes. But it's fine, it's pretty early. So, do I need to pee? I really need to pee. Oh, this is gonna be embarrassing. Okay, before I go, I think I should conclude the stream before I go. When it comes to Monster Hunter 6, now I can easily put this for the main channel, but I feel like I'm not gonna do that because it's just assumptions. You can't see it clearly, but I've been assuming. So my assumption is that they started working on Monster Hunter 6. Well, the concepts, the drawing concepts, I'm assuming that they are working on it since they were working on it since 2019. So it might come out next year. And I hope it does. I really hope it does because it's been far too long. I don't want to wait another year for another Monster Hunter game. Because it seems like they know what they're doing. It's just they better get it done quickly. I feel like they are almost done, which is good. So we might get a confirmation next time. Next time we might get a confirmation. Maybe this September they might tell us about Monster Hunter 6. But I'll keep checking. You never know. You never know. Maybe there might be some rumors about talking about Monster Hunter 6. Okay, what happened over here? Okay. All right then. Um, a lot of leaks, discussions and stuff like that. Some of these are pretty old. Some of them are pretty new. So let me just look at this one. Okay. Now, there was this crazy leak a couple of weeks ago from Discord. It doesn't make sense because it was fake. The leak was fake. But I do know without a doubt it's coming up. It's coming up next year. Quarter two, that's like April, May, June. Um, I hope not 2024 because it'll take so long. Now, this was just a fake leak for the Discord stuff. It's not real. But let's be real for a moment. Monster Hunter 6 might come out next year, which I hope. It makes sense because it seems like they worked on this. They started working on this game for such a long time, you know. So I hope it comes out very swiftly. Anyways, I have to go now. Have a fantastic day. Bye.